If you've recently seen your PhD applications denied, this video is for you. Today, I'm giving you the ultimate guide of what to do if your PhD applications got denied, how to analyze what went wrong, create a strategy to reapply stronger, and stay motivated throughout the process. Let's dive in. Hey, I'm Philippe. I'm a former professor and a graduate school admissions consultant. And when I sat on admissions committees for PhD programs, unfortunately, we denied more applicants than we took into the program. But today, I'm telling you how to bounce back. But before we dive into strategies and action steps, let's talk about something that very few people talk about: how to handle rejections on an emotional level. Getting your PhD applications denied is tough. It's okay to feel disappointed and to be frustrated or even be angry. You've probably invested months, if not years, working on your research application, dreaming of being at a school, and dreaming about your career post-graduation. And all this to receive the "we regret to inform you" email. Rejection doesn't just hurt, it shakes your confidence. But let me tell you this, you are not alone. I've worked with plenty of PhD applicants, and I would say that half of them got denied the first time. But the good news is that they reapplied the following year, and most of them got admitted. I know it's hard. I know you might feel discouraged, but here's what I recommend. First of all, take time to process. Don't rush into analyzing your application right away. Talk to someone you trust. Write down your emotions. Let yourself feel the emotions, but don't let them consume you. Second step to take, reframe the rejection. Rejection is not a reflection on your worth. When I was sitting on admissions committees and we denied someone, it was not because we thought less of that person. It was just a question of fit. It's also a good idea to separate fact from feelings. It's easy to spiral into thinking I'm not good enough. But the truth is, the rejection doesn't tell the full story. Instead of freaking out, focus on what you can control and let go of factors that are simply out of your hand. And finally, remember your why. Why did you apply to a PhD program in the first place? Reconnecting with your motivation is a great way for you to reignite your confidence and determination. The truth is, rejection is an essential part of academia, and every academic has been rejected at some point of their career. What's important is not the rejection, but how you respond to it. And today, this is exactly what we're going to focus on next: how to turn this setback into your comeback. Before we start fixing things, it's really important to talk about rejection itself. A lot of people think that it is a reflection of their abilities, but that's simply not the truth. There are a lot of factors at play, and I will link another video that I've done on the various reasons why people get their PhD applications denied. Feel free to watch it, but to summarize these reasons, first of all, there's a lot of reasons that have nothing to do with you. It might have to do with faculty availability or funding availability. But based on my own experience working with people who got denied the first time, it usually has to do with two things: the statement of purpose and the school selection. And many times these two are intertwined. On the statement of purpose side, it often has to do with badly outlined research interests that are not necessarily clear to admissions committees that get people denied. And if you think about it, if your research interest or your topic of interest or what you'd like to work on is badly outlined, and knowing that the reasons why you get admitted into a program mainly has to do with how aligned your research is with the school, oftentimes the school selection is just not good. So basically, rejection doesn't necessarily mean that you're not good enough. Sometimes it's about just knocking at the wrong door. Quick pause. Before we dive deeper, don't hesitate to smash that like button. It lets me know that I'm on the right track, and it helps PhD hopefuls see this video. If you are interested in more content related to PhD applications, feel free to subscribe. I'll be posting a lot more videos over the next few weeks, and hopefully these videos can be really helpful to you. So let's continue. Now that we know that getting your PhD application denied doesn't define you, let's be strategic. So how do you move forward? And especially, how do you find out what went wrong? But before anything else, it's really important for you to understand what you need to do as a PhD applicant. You need to fit in and you need to stand out. This is how you guarantee getting admitted into a program. So if you see your applications getting denied, it's probably because you failed at doing one or the other or even both. So the first step to take is to evaluate your stats. So it's really important to go back to your GPA and GRE and find out if your GPA and GRE aligned with your target schools. And you can do that by going back to the website and digging a little deeper into the various pages of the program, the school, or the university to find out what is the average GRE score and the average GPA of PhD applicant. This information is often shared by universities. It is sometimes hard to find, but it's a good idea for you to find out if you meet this average or not. Obviously, if you are within the average or above, you are good to go. It probably has nothing to do with your GPA or GRE, but if you're below, that might be a factor why you didn't get in. The second step of the assessment is to take a look at your CV. So when you prepared your application, did you just write your CV in a rush, not thinking that it was important? I see a lot of applicants doing that. They kind of see the CV as an afterthought and they put it together at the last minute, thinking that the rest of their application is much more important. And in reality, your CV carries a lot of weight. And it's really important to understand what the role of the CV is in a PhD applications. A lot of people think it's just the basic description of what you've done in the past, either academically or professionally. But in the context of admissions, the CV should be where you actually demonstrate how you stand out from others. So instead of basically just describing what you've done in the past, it should be conceived as a list of achievements. And when I talk with people who have gotten denied before, after a few minutes of discussions, I usually find out that they have a lot of achievements that they simply forgot to list on their CV. So if your CV has been written quickly, it might be a good reason for you to rethink your CV and present it the right way. If you want to know how to do that, I highly encourage you to take a look at the free resources that I posted in the description box of this video. I have a guide that actually helps you turn your old CV into a CV that is PhD admissions ready. So feel free to download it and take a look at it. The good thing about it is that it is free. Now, let's talk about the number one factor why PhD applications get denied, your statement of purpose. Hopefully, you didn't use ChatGPT to write it, or you didn't write it at the last minute, because that might be a reason why you did not get admitted. But technically, a statement of purpose should answer three questions. Why are you pursuing a PhD? What do you want to research? And why are you picking this specific program? If your statement of purpose doesn't answer any of these questions, or if one of these questions is missing in your statement of purpose, that might be the reason why you did not get in. It might also be a good idea to take a look at your school selection. When I work with people who got denied, usually I find that a lot of people apply to schools who are pretty much around the same tier. Unfortunately, people seem to focus on 4 or 5 schools: Harvard, Yale, Princeton, etc., etc. If you apply to a variety of schools and they all fit within the same category, Ivy League, super niche, super competitive schools, well, it might be the reason why all your applications got denied. It's really important as you consider your PhD applications to consider a wide variety of programs. It's good to apply to highly competitive programs like the Ivy League ones, but it's also a great idea to look at other types of programs, whether at a public school or maybe programs that are not as highly competitive, and include them in your overall strategy. Having all your eggs in the same basket is usually not the best idea, and it might be the reason why you did not get in. And finally, timing is everything. Did you rush your application? Did you work on it 24 hours before the deadline? If this is the case, that might be the reason why you did not get in. Applying to PhD programs takes a lot more time than one might think. You need to come up with a great CV, a great statement of purpose, selecting the right recommenders. There are a lot of factors at play. So if you prepared at the last minute, it might be the reason why you just didn't get in. Speaking of timing, if you are in the process of reapplying to PhD programs and you're watching this video and you're feeling overwhelmed, I know, as I've mentioned, there are a lot of different pieces involved in a PhD application, and it really involves a lot of work. If you have problems staying on track and you think that might be the reason why you did not getting the first time, I highly encourage you to download my PhD application timeline that I've included in the description box of this video. You can download it, upload it on your phone, on your computer. It's a great way for you to know what you have to do before deadlines. It's also a great way for you to know where you are in the process. Are you late? Are you early? And also, it's simply a great way to stay on track as you go through the application process. I find that it decreases the anxiety that's usually related to this really stressful moment in your life. So if this is something that is of interest to you, I highly encourage you to download it. The good thing about it is that it is free. And hopefully you will find this helpful as you tackle this next round of PhD admissions. Now, let's start planning your comeback. So, how do you come up with a PhD application that this time will get you admitted? Here's how to do it. Well, first of all, I've talked about the PhD application timeline. We've gone through the various reasons why people get denied, and usually timing plays a huge role. So, the first thing you should do is to come up with a really well organized plan to make sure that you check all the boxes and that you have plenty of time to come up with the best application possible. Now that you have a plan, the next step is to build your profile up to make it stronger for the next application round. It might be a good idea for you to bulk up your research experience. You can take on opportunities for you to conduct research either professionally or on your own. A great way to also boost your research profile would be to publish something. It doesn't necessarily have to be published in a peer-reviewed journals. You can look online for opportunities for you to publish a blog. There's also a lot of reviews that are student-led that are fairly easy to get published in, so that might be a good idea. It might be also a good idea for you to attend a conference. Again, it doesn't have to be these big international conferences. You can sign up for a conference led by students. So I would definitely conduct a bit of research, but it might be a good idea for you to bulk up your research profile so that you come up stronger. Another great way for you to bolster your academic profile would be to take on additional classes that are relevant to the field. You can also look for potential online classes that might involve research. So that might be a good way for you to build your profile again. Don't hate me. The GRE might also be a good idea. I know people hate doing the GRE and especially studying for it, but it might be a good idea for you to take it, especially if your GPA is a little on the lower side of things. After you've done your research, you might see that you're just right there in the average. If you want to bring it a little higher, taking the GRE and getting a great score is a great way for you to provide admissions committees with an insight into your current academic skills, especially if you've been out of school for a while. It's a great way to tell them, here I am, here are my skills right now. Don't judge me on my performance 6 or 7 years ago. So that's something I would definitely consider as well. I would definitely take the time it takes, and it does take a lot of time to conduct all this research, but I would definitely expand my search in terms of target program. It's a good idea to kind of look at programs that might be a little off the beaten path and conduct a bit more thorough research. You might find a program that is definitely a great fit for you and that you might have overlooked simply because you were focused on specific programs, you were in a rush, or you simply didn't have the time to conduct all this in-depth research. So I definitely would refine my school search and expand the array of school that I'm going to put in that list to make sure that this time you apply and you get admitted somewhere. Now that you have some time on your hand, it's also a great idea for you to strengthen your network. And you'd be surprised at the number of people who apply to PhD programs without doing a bit of networking before they apply. Based on my experience, the best way to proceed is to actually prepare your application and engage with your target program as much as possible. And you can do that by doing a bit of networking through connections, with students or alumni. It's a great way for you to find more information about the program and determine if it is a good fit for you. But it's also a great way for you to use the information that you will get from these conversations and use them in your application. You can refer to these conversations with students or alumni at the end of your statement of purpose, for example, or if there is an interview, this is something you can refer to while you are being interviewed. If you are applying to a highly competitive program, this is a great way for you to stand out from others. Not many people do that, and I find that people who do this usually increase their chances of getting admitted. So if you have the time to do so, I would definitely connect with current students or alumni from your target program. It's also very important for you to get a network and connect with people who are in the same situation as you. So if you are watching this video, well, welcome. This is a great way for you to start sharing your experience applying to PhD programs. So feel free to drop a comment in the description box of this video. This is a great way to build a community because applying to PhD programs can be a very lonely experience and a very stressful experience. So having your tribe, having people that you can exchange with and share your own experience as a PhD applicant is a great way for you to move forward with more confidence. Any way you can connect with other people as you go through the process, in my opinion, is a great way for you to build your confidence and increase your chances of being better as a PhD applicant. Another great way to get better the second time around is to get feedback. So don't hesitate to connect with people and seek the feedback you need on your application. Oftentimes we are the worst judges of ourselves, and it's really a good idea for you to get a fresh pair of eyes to look at your application. It might enable you to point to specific flaws that you might not have seen before. And so I definitely suggest connecting with somebody who knows the process. So don't connect with just anyone, but seek out the input of a professor or a graduate school admissions consultant or current PhD student. They might provide you with a crucial piece of information that enables you to turn a good application into a great one. And finally, as I mentioned before, the statement of purpose is oftentimes the reason why you got denied. You should devote a lot of time to the writing of your statement of purpose. And it might be a good idea to also use the extra time that you have on your hands to conduct some more research about your topic. In my opinion, demonstrating your familiarity with existing debates within the scholarship or existing theories related to your topic, to be able to position yourself within that overall landscape in your statement of purpose is a great way to impress admissions committees. So feel free to do some research, read. You don't necessarily have to read an entire library or hundreds of books, but download a few articles related to your topic. Seek out literature reviews. They are a great way for you to gain instant access to what's being done on that specific topic and use this information in your statement of purpose. In my opinion, this is really a great way for you to make your statement of purpose stand out and to truly demonstrate your potential to admissions committees. So as you can see, there are many ways for you to improve your PhD application. But the big question is, how do you stay motivated going through the process again? Here are a few tips that I think could be useful to keep you motivated as you go through the process a second time. So before anything else, it's important to move beyond the rejection. And the greatest way for you to do that is to reframe the rejection as feedback. Sure, you didn't get in the first time, but see this denial as a way for you to reassess what you've done and as a way for you to improve your application. I think that if you see rejection less as the end of the road, but as a sign that there are ways for you to position yourself in a better way, this is a great way for you to stay motivated and not feel too depressed about going through the process a second time. Another great way for you to stay motivated is to also focus on your long-term vision. So yes, you did apply to a PhD, but what was the reason? Was it because you wanted to come up with breakthrough research? Was it because you wanted to work in industry? Is it a way to fulfill your passion for teaching? In my opinion, focusing on the long goal is a great way for you to also feel less panicked about all the steps that you have to take and seeing the PhD not as an end to itself, but as a step into fulfilling your own career vision is a great way, in my opinion, to move away from analysis paralysis and focus on the steps to take. Also, it's important to take control of what you can. After rejection, it's really easy to feel powerless, but flip the script and see it as an opportunity for you to gain control of what you can control and letting go of factors that are beyond your reach. So see these next few months as an ability for you to grow, to be better, and to come up with a better application than you did last time. It's a great way for you to step into your own power and to move forward in full confidence and gain back the determination that you need to be accepted into your target program. And finally, normalize this setback. Even the most successful academics, people who are published, people who are full professors, people who are stars in their field, still experience rejection. Reframe this moment as part of the process, not the end of it. And I'll leave you with this. Rejection does not mean you are not capable. It just means that your path is unfolding differently. And as someone who's worked with hundreds of applicants, the most inspiring stories come from those who turn rejection into a stepping stone. Well, that's all, folks. I hope this video was inspiring and that it helped you get motivated into reapplying for PhD programs this year. If you have any questions or experience that you'd like to share with other people as part of the community, please feel free to leave comments in the comment section of this video. I'm excited to read about your experience. The good thing is that you will get admitted the second time. It happens to a ton of people. Again, thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.